As selected by the 13,000 voting members of the Recording Academy, the Grammy goes to Cowboy Carter.
So Beyonce paid for Best Country Album of the Year. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I didn't know Jay-Z had that much money left after the Diddy trials. You're trying to tell me that this album with songs like this won over this Swims? Feels like the walls are all closing in and the devil's not. The difference is black and white. No pun intended. By the way, Beyonce, it's called a tornado shelter, not a basement. On top of that, Beyonce wasn't even nominated at the Country Music Awards. Nor did she perform this album at any country music festival. This sounds like a scam!
Hello guys, and welcome to the J Report. So Beyonce just made history by winning Best Country Album at the 2025 Grammys for her album Cowboy Carter. And let me tell you, not everyone is thrilled about it. So in this video, we are going to dive into what this win means for Beyonce, for country music, and for the ongoing conversations about inclusivity in music. So what's really going on? Is this a game changer for country music, or is the backlash actually justified? If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing this video so that YouTube may recommend it to a wider audience. So to begin with, first, let's start off with Beyonce's career. It is important to lay the groundwork so that you understand who Beyonce is. And so over the years, she's become the ultimate genre-crossing artist, from R&B and pop to hip-hop and even rock. She first rose to fame as the lead singer of Destiny's Child in the late 1990s, delivering R&B and pop hits like Say My Name and Survivor. As a solo artist, she cemented her status as a global superstar with albums like Dangerously in Love and B-Day, which showcased her powerful vocals and R&B roots. And over the years, Beyonce has continuously reinvented her sound, blending pop, R&B, hip-hop, and electronic influences in critically acclaimed projects like 4 in 2011 and Beyonce in 2013, and also Lemonade in 2016. And with Lemonade, she explored themes of Black identity, infidelity, and resilience. Her ability to cross genre has made her a trailblazer in the industry. She has collaborated with artists such as Jay-Z and Kanye West from hip-hop, Jack Whyte from rock, and Wizkid from Afrobeats, bringing mainstream attention to multiple musical styles. And in 2022, she dominated the dance scene with Renaissance, a house and disco-inspired album that honored Black queer culture and became a massive commercial and critical success. There's nothing she hasn't touched. But with Cowboy Carter, Beyonce took a bold leap into country music. Now, winning Best Country Album at the Grammys is huge. But what makes it even more groundbreaking is that Beyonce is not traditionally associated with country music. In fact, some might say her roots in R&B and pop make her an outsider to the genre. So with this win is both a major accomplishment for her and a statement about the power of music evolution. Now, let's play a few clips from TikTok so that you can see what people are saying about this win.
Look, I don't even care about the Grammys. I never watched it. But tell me why it is hilarious to see that the power of Beyonce is dying out. So apparently she won Best Country Album. And I will say, like 10 years ago, when Beyonce won something, you'd see the internet in an uproar celebrating her, the beehive out there going crazy. And I know it's my algorithm, but tell me why it is amazing to see that people are fighting against Beyonce. Because at one point she was untouchable and no one ever thought she would get to a point where people are rejecting her the way they are. So I'm not going to give my 2 cents on whether she deserved it or not, because to be quite frankly honest, I don't really listen to a whole lot of music. And so it's not even my place to judge what is a good album. And to be honest, Hollywood is completely rigged and we already knew that. But I'm just happy to see that the beehive's power is no longer what it was 10 years ago. That means society is waking up and not following Hollywood anymore. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm not going to say anything about the Grammys or who deserves it, who doesn't deserve it, because again, I don't really listen to music. But it's just kind of cool to see that people are advocating against following the beehive and never questioning what she does.
Okay, so Beyonce 100% deserved to win Album of the Year. Now, was Cowboy Carter the best album ever? No, but out of the other nominees, it was the best choice. And people think that Billie Eilish should have won the award for her album Hard and Soft, but I can't fully agree with y'all because there have been so many times that Beyonce was snubbed for Album of the Year. Now, granted, Billie had a couple songs on there that were really popular and went viral, but the album as a whole just wasn't as impactful as Cowboy Carter. And I see that some people are trying to switch up and be like, I can't name one song off of Cowboy Carter when y'all were literally abusing 16 carriages. And y'all also made a dance trend out of Sweet Honey Buckin', so I think it's weird for y'all to sit here and pretend like her songs weren't popular when they were extremely popular on this app. And the last time a black woman won this award was Lauryn Hill back in 1999, so this has been long overdue. And not only that, she became the first black individual to win Best Country Album. So when I say that her album was more impactful than Billie's, this is what I mean. Now, Billie walking away from the Grammys with absolutely nothing is just straight up criminal, but you can't tear down Beyonce for walking away with an award that she truly did deserve. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I mean, you could have hated Cowboy Carter, but life goes on. It's not like they're going to take the award back and give it to Billie, so y'all just need to let it go.
Beyonce winning not one but 2 Grammys last night just made me wake up in such a good mood this morning, especially when I saw a comment on one of my older videos on my main page on like Beyonce first dropping Cowboy Carter and me reacting to the songs and talking about the album, them saying that I can't believe this album got the awards. That it made my morning. It really did. And I wouldn't even consider myself to be a Beyonce stan, okay? I enjoy her music deeply, immensely, but I'm nowhere a Beyonce. I'm not a stan. Okay, but just seeing the racists just wither and just like ugh. I vividly remember how they treated her at the Country Music Awards 1 and how they treated Shabuzi 2 for sticking up for her. Not to mention, funny enough, I was watching Smallville for the first time and the father in Smallville, he went on a racist Twitter rant about Beyonce, so I stopped watching the show altogether last year. To seeing Beyonce win not only country but album of the year, are you kidding me? I know the racists are writhing in just like rage and like just in a fit in a corner somewhere, and it's giving me so much joy and so much happiness. When Taylor Swift won all those albums multiple times, this then the third, no one had anything to say. Well, some people had something to say, but no one had anything to say. And this is coming from someone that actually likes Taylor Swift music. I'm not a Swiftie hater or anything like that. I do love her music, especially Evermore and Folklore. Those 2 albums are so good. But when Beyonce wins not only country but album of the year, all of a sudden she's talentless. Bitch, name 3 singers that are in Beyonce's vocal range right now. You can't. No current artist right now is matching her vocally. The lady, for God's sake, is classically trained. What are we doing? And it absolutely hurt to see Billie win absolutely no Grammys that year. It literally felt like watching Lana Del Rey all over again when she came out with There's a Tunnel Under Ocean. There's an Ocean Under Tunnel. That album. To see that she didn't get a single Grammy, it hurt me. Billie deserved a Grammy last night for sure. But I'm telling you right now, if it were to come down to Beyonce and Billie for album of the year again, I would side with Beyonce. Winning that award is just so much more than the music at this point. The album is beautiful. It's done masterfully. How they treated Beyonce and the current political climate that we're in right now, it stands for something.
Now let's talk about the backlash. You probably saw the reactions online when Beyonce was announced as the winner. Some country fans and artists weren't happy about it. Casey, for example, who was also nominated, went viral with her reaction, looking a bit less than pleased when Beyonce's name was called. And there's been plenty of online chatter with people questioning whether Beyonce deserves to be in the country music conversation at all. The issue here isn't just her music, it's about who gets to represent country music. And historically, country has been seen as a genre dominated by white artists, with black voices often pushed to the side. So Beyonce's success in this space is forcing the industry to reckon with its racial biases. But let's be real, Beyonce isn't the first to challenge these boundaries. From Ray Charles's modern sounds in country and western music to Lil Nas X, Old Town Road, the lines between genres have always been blurry, and artists have been pushing against them for years. Beyonce's win with Cowboy Carter is just the latest chapter in this ongoing evolution. And while there's resistance from some, there's also plenty of artists and fans celebrating this as a victory for diversity and inclusivity in country music.
You think Billie Eilish was crying because she lost? Billie Eilish was crying because she was happy to see Beyonce win. You really think Billie Eilish isn't aware of the history that Beyonce and the Grammys have together? You're gonna sit there and tell me that Gaga was just crying for fun? That Taylor Swift got up on her feet as soon as she heard Beyonce's name? That Victoria Rebo just decided to jump up and celebrate her win just because she wanted to? Everybody was celebrating because they knew the history between Album of the Year for Beyonce and Beyonce. Because they knew about the history of the Grammy putting Beyonce in a box, saying you're not getting out of the urban category. You're staying where you need to be. What are you doing going out into other genres? These artists are conscious of the reasons as to why she probably never won Album of the Year. So let me give you a brief history of Beyonce's history with Album of the Year. Back in 2013, when she dropped Self-Titled, the industry as a whole thought that she was going to take the Album of the Year award. Because of that album, music releases moved from a traditional Tuesday to a Friday release. The reasons why your favorite artist released music on a Friday is because of Beyonce. After revolutionizing the music industry and releasing the first ever visual album with a surprise drop, did she win? No. Beck did. In 2016, after releasing an album with a full-length movie called Lemonade, the album that won her first Peabody Award, a love letter to the Black community, an album that made so much noise that when it was time to tour it, she became the first Black woman to ever headline a stadium tour. And after a full year of touring this album and selling out every single stadium that she toured in, did she win Album of the Year? No, Adele did. In fact, Adele used her speech to thank Beyonce for Lemonade, the album, because of what it represents to the Black community and to her Black friends. Then in 2023, Beyonce was nominated for Album of the Year for the album Renaissance. It's an amazing example of what an album sounds like when everything is so cohesive and merges into each other. You can't listen to I'm That Girl without going into Cozy, without going into Alien Superstar. You can't listen to Cuff It without going into Energy, without going to Break My Soul. You can't listen to one song without listening to the other. You have to listen to it the way that the artist intended it to be listened to. And Renaissance was a perfect example of a potential Album of the Year. It was a love letter to house music. It was a love letter to her Uncle Johnny. It was a love letter to the Black community, to the gay community. It was a love letter to a lot of people, a lot of marginalized groups that needed a voice, and Renaissance brought them that voice that they were looking for. She also provided work for a lot of people that were in debt and for a lot of people that didn't have work for a very long time. And this is something you need to understand about Beyonce. A lot of people like to hop on the hate train and say, oh, she doesn't write her music. Oh, she has like over 40 people writing one song for her. That's so untalented. Beyonce will credit you on a song if you sneeze. If you were in the same room, in the same vicinity as when she was recording that song, you will get a credit. If she decides to sample any song, she will add the writer's credits from that song to her own writer credits. Because if she uses your song, you're going to get a credit. Because a lot of you want to compare the amount of songwriters in an album without knowing how song crediting works. Beyonce took the time to introduce a whole community that has always been marginalized and has always been shut out and ignored and completely persecuted, brought it into the spotlight to be celebrated, and created something that celebrated this culture while submerging herself into this genre that she hadn't really pursued before. Did she win? No, Harry Styles won. Cut to Cowboy Carter, an album that was basically created out of retaliation against the CMAs. Because when Beyonce performed at the Country Music Awards, she has said that she did not feel welcome. Cowboy Carter is a project that she's been working on since 2016. This is something that she's recorded over time and has curated into what it is today. Again, like Beyonce's previous work, Cowboy Carter was used as a spotlight to highlight the Black talent in country music, the roots of country music itself, and also as a response to people saying that she can't do country music because she's a Black woman. A Black woman doing country music, specifically Beyonce doing country music, and she herself, Beyonce, was not welcome into the country music genre. Spotify reported that 36 million people started streaming country music after Beyonce released Cowboy Carter. Cowboy Carter made country music mainstream in the UK, in Europe. Oh, but I heard she was only local. Cowboy Carter introduced country music to a Black demographic that once ignored the genre completely. Texas Hold'em became the #1 song in the country, and it was immediately replaced by Shaboozie's song. Overall, Cowboy Carter as a body of work is a story from start to finish. 100% deserving of an Album of the Year because that's what it was. The Album of the Year. The album is shaped to be a sonic film. This isn't just an album, it's an experience, an audio cinema, something that you have to experience from beginning to end. And if you don't understand why it was so crucial for Beyonce to win this award, then there's nothing I can do about that. You have no taste. It's as simple as that. You lack taste. Uninformed, unseasoned, blissfully ignorant, lost cause. Can't help you, sorry.
Beyonce herself has said that Cowboy Carter was born out of her feeling unwelcome in country music. She wanted to create an album that's still uniquely Beyonce, but that also honors the roots of the genre. And that's what makes this win so powerful. It's not just about her crossover success, it's about the doors it's opening for other artists from diverse backgrounds. So Beyonce's influence on music is undeniable. She holds the record for the most Grammy wins by any female artist with 35 awards. Her album Cowboy debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, making her the first woman to have her first 8 albums debut at the top. And so with this album, she also became the first black woman to win Best Country Album and Album of the Year at the Grammys. Streaming-wise, Cowboy sets records with over 76 million Spotify streams on its first day, the biggest debut for a country album and any album by a black woman. And so to summarize and end my arguments, I will say that Beyonce's win for Cowboy as Best Country Album at the Grammys carries a significant implication for both her career and the country music genre. For Beyonce, it represents a bold step in her ongoing exploration of musical boundaries, solidifying her place as a genre crossing artist. Her ability to dominate the country space despite not being traditionally associated with it challenges the genre's long standing conventions and offers a fresh perspective on what defines country music. And for country music, her win sparks ongoing debate about inclusivity and authenticity. Historically, country music has been seen as a space that predominantly excludes Black artists despite its roots in African American musical traditions. And so Beyonce's success in this genre forces the industry to confront its biases and question who gets to claim a space in country music. While some fans and artists see her win as a progressive moment for diversity, others view it as an intrusion or even a marketing move, fueling conversations about racial and artistic gatekeeping. And so, overall, Beyonce's victory highlights the evolving nature of music genres and the importance of inclusivity. It opens the doors for more artists from diverse backgrounds to participate in and reshape the genre, but it also underscores the challenges of breaking down long held boundaries in the music industry. The discussions about race, authenticity, and traditions are far from over. But Beyonce's achievement undoubtedly marks a turning point in how we think about genre and representation in music. So, what do you think about the backlash and the support that she's gotten? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post. And until the next time, the Joy Report out.